Alrighty, good morning, everybody. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that's joining us for this third part of the Thirsty for Knowledge Free Business Law webinar series presented by the City of Cibolo and Adelita Cavada Law. I do see that we do have some attendees coming in through Zoom. There are some that are viewing directly through Eventbrite as well. So I really appreciate everyone taking the time to view in those formats as well. My name is Dustin Morris with the City of Cibolo, and I wanted to mention a few more items before the presentation begins. This webinar is being recorded and will be distributed to all the registrants. The full recording will also be published to the Cibolo Economic Development YouTube channel, as well as our social media pages, so you can view those in perpetuity. If you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to use the chat feature at any time during certain parts of the presentation or at the end. Both of our presenters can see those questions and answer accordingly. But with those items out of the way, I would like to introduce the City of Cibolo's HR Manager, Ms. Kristen Hetzel, and Attorney Adelita Cavada with Adelita Cavada Law. So thank you so much for putting on this presentation. Please feel free to take it away.
Okay, I hope everyone can hear us. I apologize so much for the technical difficulties. Those were definitely on my end. Okay, so my name is Adelita Cavada. I'm an attorney licensed here in the state of Texas. I'm going to give my disclaimer first. While I am an attorney, this is not creating an attorney-client relationship between me and any of you who are watching. If you need advice of a lawyer, please consult an attorney. I'm also always available for questions. Okay, so today we're talking about sole proprietorship or how to start a business, right? There are several, if you go to the state of Texas's Secretary of State website, they're going to show you all the different kinds of business structures that are allowed in Texas, right? Today, we're going to focus on sole proprietors, but I do want to go over the other types of entities in case you are deciding about starting a business and maybe a sole proprietor is a little bit too generic or general for you. There are different business structures you can run your business under. When you're starting a business, make sure you consult with an accountant. And always consult with an attorney. We have lots of good ideas. We'll help keep you in line or up to date with all the laws that surround starting a business. An accountant will know the taxes and what taxes that you'll be responsible for, even as a sole proprietor. Right. So we're going to start with sole proprietorship. This is the most common and simplest form of business. This is just you engaging in some sort of business activity without any formal organization. So if the business is conducted under an assumed name, so let's say I had a little Etsy business and my Etsy business is Adelita Cavada Coats, right? I now have an assumed name. And that assumed name has to be registered in the county where I'll be conducting business, right? So I think we're in Guadalupe County. I would file my assumed name certificate or DBA, right? We all know that term DBA, it's the same thing. I file it with the county, right? With the county clerk, okay? If you don't have a business premises, so you're not renting out an office space, you're not renting a little storefront, just be sure you have that assumed name certificate wherever you are conducting business if it's out of your home. Okay. So the next is a general partnership. So a general partnership is between two or more people running a business for profit, right? So there's usually a partnership agreement, but there is no requirement that the agreement be in writing, and you don't have to file anything with the state, right? If you're running that partnership under an assumed name, then you have to file your assumed name certificates or the DBAs with the county. Okay. Next is a corporation. A Texas corporation is actually filed with the state of Texas and the Secretary of State. There are a lot of laws surrounding corporations. There's state and then there's federal too. You can file that corporation document with the Secretary of State. It's really easy. It's SOS Direct is the I guess the department or the website with the Secretary of State where you file all of that. A corporation is considered an actual person, right? Consult a lawyer if you're going to start a corporation. There's directors, there's shareholders, there's all kinds of laws that go around that surround actually creating a corporation. So part of that is this S corp, right? And an S corp really has to do with taxes. And that's something that you want to consult an accountant for, and how that would affect you, right? Texas can't help you, right? But an accountant can. And then the next form of business that's probably the most popular after sole proprietorship is a limited liability company, or LLC. It's not a partnership and it's not a corporation, but it's a distinct kind of entity, right? That kind of acts like a corporation and kind of acts like a partnership, right? The benefits of this is that the personal liability with a sole proprietorship that comes with a sole proprietorship, you don't have with an LLC, so long as you run it correctly. It's usually the most preferred way of running a business. If you talk to a lawyer about starting a business, they're probably going to try to steer you towards an LLC. But that's just another form, another way of running your business. Then we have a limited partnership. So these are 2 or more people that are operating a business under a partnership agreement. It acts like an LLC, but for partners, so doctors or dentists, attorneys as well, right? There's requirements that come with it. And then there's a limited liability partnership, right? Okay. Okay, so back to sole proprietorship. And the next slide. Okay, super easy, right? Choose your name, right? Are you going to run your business under your personal name? Or are you going to run it under a business or under a different name? You know, Adelita Cavada Law or Kristen Hetzel, you know, treats, right? You need to file your assumed name certificate. State law requires that your business name is distinguishable from the name of another company already on record, right?
When you say we have to file it in each county you conduct business, is that where you're based out of? So if I'm doing Etsy and I'm selling it to everybody in the world, do I have to file it in every county?
So Etsy, no, because you're running your business out of your house. But let's say you have a food truck, and this weekend we're in Guadalupe County, and the next weekend we're in Bexar County, and then the weekend after that we're in Comal County. That's 3 different counties. And really, you should file it in each county to protect your name, right? Because nothing would stop somebody else in the next county filing your business name in their county and running business, right? So
you're Adelita Sows in Bexar County. I could then claim Adelita Sows in Guadalupe County.
Absolutely.
If you didn't get there.
Yep, if I didn't get there.
Try to steal all your clients.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
No, go for it. I'm going to take Kristen Hetzel treats. Okay, go back to the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Got excited.
Also choose a name that's not too similar to another registered business, right? I mentioned that in the last slide, right? You can get in trouble really fast. And then there's federal trademark law as well that can get you in some hot water. There's a very famous a case that lawyers love to talk about. It actually finally came to a conclusion actually not too long ago, and it had to do with Buc-ee's and Grand Canyon, Grand Canyon something, what was it? Oh, anyway. So Grand Canyon got in a lot of trouble for being similar enough to Buc-ee's that they lost at trial.
With their logo or with their name?
With their logo.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, how to look for, how do you know if you're trying to pick a business name that's similar to somebody else's? The county keeps records of all the other DBAs and assumed names. You can usually run a search with the county, the Texas Comptroller website, SOS Direct. It's $1 per search, right? And then you can also look with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office online. Super easy. Oh no, okay, go back one more. Okay, so filing an assumed name, right? So if you use a business name that's different from your legal name, you must register that assumed name certificate with the county, right? This is mandatory. This isn't something that you can get to later. You need to take care of it. There's always a fee. In Guadalupe County, it's $23.50 and then 50 cents for each additional, registrant or owner, right? And then make sure they're up to date. So DBAs expire after 10 years, right? They expire on their own. You can go renew it as well. So if you want to keep running your business, make sure you renew it at the end of that 10 years. And then finally, make sure you obtain the licenses, permits, and zoning clearances, whatever you need to run your business, right? But you're in luck, right? The state of Texas has a comprehensive website of every single profession and occupation that requires a license by any sole proprietorship. Right. If you want to send an email later, or I'll send it to Kristen and she can put it in the chat. Let me take care of that right now. Oh, we can't do anything about it right now. Well, send us an email and we can send you those websites. And then don't forget local permits, right? So fire alarms, building permits, building licenses, tax permits, health permits, occupational permits, signage permits, zoning permits, right? The government wants to make sure you're running your business the right way. So don't forget those. Okay.
No, I can't afford it.
And next slide. Get an employer identification number, right? Super easy. It takes only a few minutes. Even if it's a DBA, even if you're doing business under your own name, get an EIN specifically for your business, right? The IRS will, I think they even email it to you, right? It's super easy, right?
And this is, even if you feel like you don't have a need for it, if you go anywhere and they're going to pay you, they usually request a W-9. And part of that W-9 is completing a form that says how you want to get paid and how you're filed. And so you would have to put your EIN on that, or you're putting your personal social security number on it. So if you didn't get your EIN, you've got a social security, and you're now just giving that to companies and strangers who are handling your social. So most people don't like giving out their social. So this prevents you from having to give it out. You're using your EIN instead of a social.
Exactly.
So even if you don't believe anything the attorney is saying because they're just an attorney and they're trying to make money
Always.
with this free webinar, then then at least protect yourself by getting an EIN so you're not handing out your social to people.
Correct. Now, you don't need one if it's just you, right? An EIN, if you're a sole proprietor or a single member LLC, for tax purposes is a disregarded entity, and you just use your social security for your taxes. But like Kristen said, there's a privacy issue, and as your business grows, as you start getting more business, you're going to have to start giving out that EIN, and it's better to give out that than your social security number. Also, you're going to need an EIN if you hire employees, right? If you're a single member LLC, or you're taxed as an S Corp, you're going to need an EIN, right? So it's just a good business practice. What if it's just you for a few years and then your business takes off and you go viral on Instagram or TikTok or something, and what are you going to do then, right? It's good to get this done at the beginning and get your business off on the right foot. Where's my notes for Texas? Okay, so next. Okay, next slide. Okay, you have to register and pay state taxes, right? Even though it's Texas, and even though we were averse to paying taxes in general, you still have to pay, right? So depending on your business, you might have to pay sales or use taxes. You go to the Texas Comptroller website, and that website I did put on the slides. You have to do it. It's the law. Take care of it.
What about if you didn't have any revenue or if you didn't have any sales that quarter? Should you still file?
You'll usually file a quarterly return that says 0, right? So you still have to do it.
Because if you, maybe your business only makes sales during Christmas time, and so you go 3 quarters with no revenue, and then on the 4th quarter you make $1 million. They're gonna, the government is gonna assume that your taxes should have happened all 4 quarters, and they're going to charge you penalties and late fees for not having filed in that 1st quarter. So that's kind of your CYA to file that 1st quarter.
Absolutely.
Or whatever quarter that says no revenue.
Yep. It's easier to do it as you go instead of playing catch up at the end, right? So next is bank accounts, right? So we have our assumed name, we have our DBA, and we have our business EIN. Use it to open a business checking and a savings account. Never, ever use your business bank account for personal expenses. I believe we talked about that in the last 2 presentations because it's that important. I'm sure I will talk about it in every single presentation after this. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the hassle. And if at some point you are ever audited by the IRS, it just creates a bigger hassle for you and the person you're going to have to hire to help you with that audit. Be sure the business has its own EIN. Make sure it has its own bank accounts. I suggest both a checking and a business savings. So you can throw some profits in there for next month. Let's say you do have a business that only operates during the holidays. Have money set aside in that savings account, that just sits there for the rest of the year so that when your season comes back around, you have money sitting in the bank to pull to buy inventory or whatever it is that you use to run your business, right? Don't ever commingle your personal expenses and business bank accounts. I can't stress this enough. I stressed it in the last slide. I stressed it in this slide. I'm going to stress it again, probably, the next 5 or so presentations that we have, right? If you need money for your personal expenses, pay yourself. It's absolutely okay to pay yourself. Let's say you pay yourself every day, right? That's okay, right? Just make sure you pay yourself and then use your personal bank account for your personal expenses. Don't mix them, right? Make it a habit to pay yourself and be disciplined about keeping your business expenses as well, only paid from your business bank accounts, right? So let's say you paid yourself too much and your business is a bit of a pickle and you need to pay back your business, and then pay the expenses from the business account. Don't pay those extra things that popped up from your personal account. Now, general liability insurance, right? So sole proprietors are personally liable for all the debts and obligations of the business, right? So business liability insurance may be the only form that you have of protection against any unforeseen events, right? My favorite example is slip and falls. Those are some of the most common injuries that happen at any business. Depending on the type of floors, water is clear and you can't see it. And somebody steps on it, slips, and now your business is in trouble, right? Slip and fall accidents are very expensive because people can get really hurt from those. And medical bills rack up very quickly. And then a lot of times people won't recover from a slip and fall. They'll have lifelong injuries from that 2 seconds it took them to get hurt at your business, right? So business liability insurance is really a must. That's something you should budget in, you should expect to pay it, and always keep it current. General liability insurance helps cover your cost to respond to a claim that your business caused property damage or bodily injury. Let's say you are a drywaller and you're, I think it's called tape and float. I tape and float, right? So I go into houses and my whole job is to tape and float, right? But I go in, or an employee goes in and knocks over an expensive, vase, or, pokes a hole in the ceiling, something bad happens, or you're in a, what is that thing called? Above the, what is that? You're in an attic and one of your guys' feet slips through. And now you've caused property damage to somebody else's house. General liability insurance covers that for your business, right? If you work from home, don't assume your homeowner's insurance will cover you. Most, I put many in the presentation, but most policies will specifically exclude business injuries that happen in your house, right? So just because you're working from home doesn't mean you won't need it. So, all right. So next, report and pay your taxes, right? File your quarterly returns with the state of Texas. If you have employees and you're withholding FICA taxes, send them to the IRS every time you withhold them from employees' paychecks. Don't hold it. Don't hold on to it. And I should have mentioned this before, but have a bank account set up just for payroll, right? And have your FICA taxes sent to the IRS directly from that bank account. Don't keep that money thinking, oh, I'll pay it at the end of the year, or I'll pay it, with next month's, withholding. Send it every time. I mentioned this in one of the previous presentations, but that's not your money. That's your employee's money. And the IRS actually considers you holding that money in trust. And if you spend that money or you don't send it to the IRS on behalf of your employees, you can get in a lot of trouble, right? And then send in, for your own personal tax liability, send in quarterly payments to the IRS, right? Don't think you're just going to pay at the end of the year. Budget them, pay them. Don't tell yourself, oh, I'll just get into a payment plan with the IRS. That's fine. Lots of people do that, but there's penalties and interest associated with that. So stay on top of your payments to the IRS. And then once we are to the point where we're hiring employees, hire them the right way. You have to report all your new hires to the child support division within 20 days of hiring, right? You can create an account online and report them that way. Am I right?
Office of Attorney General.
Office of the Attorney General. Yes.
It's for-
Child support division. Yeah. Office of the Attorney General.
It's also for unemployment fraud.
Correct.
When you respond to the Office of Attorney General, when you notify them of your new hire report, and they use it for multiple items.
Right. Don't get in trouble with the Texas Attorney General either, right? You can be fined if you don't, right? You do have to pay unemployment taxes for your employees as well. And that's the Texas Workforce Commission. Check if you need to buy workers' compensation insurance. Right? In Texas, it's not a requirement that you have workers' compensation insurance, but if you have workers' compensation insurance and an employee gets injured at work, the employee cannot sue you. They're covered under workers' compensation. So it's another way to protect your business. So let's say, back to construction, because there's tons of injuries in construction, right? So you're a general contractor, you don't carry workers' compensation insurance, and one of your employees falls off a roof, right? Breaks an arm or breaks a leg, right? And you didn't provide your employees, all the equipment that they needed to stay safe, they can sue you. If you have workers' compensation insurance, they'll get compensated through that, right? You don't have to have it, but it's a good idea when you have employees and you're outside of an office, right? And then don't forget the feds, right? So there's an I-9 form to verify the identity and employment authorization of the people you hire. U.S. employers must properly complete it for everyone you hire. This includes citizens and non-citizens, right? So if you're hiring immigrants, that's wonderful, that's great. Make sure you do it the right way. And I have some notes for this one. Where did it go? So hire professionals, period. Right? So, where is it? You are not a bookkeeper. You're not a CPA. You're not a lawyer, right? You're a chef, you're a real estate agent, you're an interior designer, you're a truck driver, you have a dress shop, you run a business, you run a restaurant, right? Use professionals to take care of the business part of running your business so that you can dedicate your time to growing your business and taking care of your customers and doing what you are good at and doing what people are hiring you for, doing what people are coming to buy from you for, right? So a bookkeeper is someone who will keep track of your daily business transactions, right? Money coming in and money going out, right? And I like this slide. So you think it's no big deal, right? You think it's going to be easy? What's your background, right? Lawyers are notoriously bad at math, right? So I may be good at being a lawyer, but I am not good at keeping my books. So I have someone who keeps track of my books and does my bookkeeping, right? Because I don't know how to do it. You can get yourself into a lot of trouble, hire somebody, right? And hire somebody who knows how to do bookkeeping, right? Accountants will help you file your taxes at the end of the year. My favorite are enrolled agents. An enrolled agent is a tax advisor. They're federally authorized tax practitioners. Enrolled agents can represent you with the IRS for tax issues that include audits, collections, and appeals, right? If you just go to Jackson Hewitt or you hire your cousin who just got licensed as a CPA to do your taxes and something bad happens and the IRS becomes upset with you, they're not going to help you. They can't help you, right? But if you've used an enrolled agent to prepare your tax returns, when you get that letter saying that you're being audited, or that there's collections, or you need to appeal something, you turn that letter right over to your enrolled agent and let them take care of that, right? And then finally, lawyers, right? Lawyers are not only good in lawsuits, lawyers are good at the beginning. Lawyers can negotiate your key contracts and protect your business. And a lawyer can help keep your business out of hot water. You may think, oh, I know my business. I know what needs to be in a contract. No, you don't, right? A lawyer can help make sure that you're covered under anything that can go wrong between you guys under that contract. All right, so you want more tips? You can go back to the first presentation we did called Bankruptcy 101. I put a ton of information in there about sole proprietors that includes some do's and do nots for you guys. So that's another good resource. Go back to it. We're making sure that these presentations aren't very long, so it won't take up much of your time, but we do try to pack a whole bunch of information in there. And so that's all I have for you, right? So it's the end of this presentation, but the start of your new business, or the start of you getting your business where it needs to be so you can continue to be profitable. So if you have any questions, my email address is there. I'm always happy to talk to you. I'm always happy to answer any questions that anybody has. And I'm going to turn it back over to Kristen. Thank you, guys.
That's all we have for you today. Thank you so much for your patience this morning and for coming in to see. I'm checking on the chats and I'm not seeing any questions at this time, but we are always available by email. And as she stated, on the Cibolo Economic Development Corporation's YouTube channel is a link to all of the presentations we've done this year and a lot of other great information. So have a great day, and I hope to see you again next week.
Thank you, guys.